Okay, team. Good evening. So thank you for joining today's sessions. So today we'll be talking about basically the planning and the implementation branching strategy for source code management. Okay. So in this, we will first understand what is branch. We have already discussed in our last sessions. I mean last time. So, but we will actually be discussing every once again. Then we'll go with the branch protection and branch management, then branch policy, branch restriction, and protection. Okay. So we will understand why it is important. So the first one is says branch, like everybody knows, right? What is branch? So if I say simple term, branch basically is like a separate workspace where you can make changes to your code without affecting to the original or main version. It lets you experiment, add features, or fix issues independently, and later you can decide whether to combine or merge two changes back to the main code. So as you can see here, those diagram here, this is your main branch, let's say. Now you all the codes basically are located in your main branch, let's say now, and you have some issue, let's say you have now two branches in my case. One is a feature branch, second one is a bug fix. Okay, there are two different branches, are total three total. So let's say you have main code in your here in your main branch now. For some reason there is a issue, or could be, let's say the two branches actually, one is for the issue and one is for the features. Anything whenever you want to work with your any kind of features that you want to add for your applications or for your any kind of infrastructure, in this case we will create separate branch as features, or some case as a bug fix based on the issue. Okay, but that's how. So it basically means that whenever you do any changes in one of the code, the main branch should not be affected. Because if you directly do changes in your main branch itself, what happens, you may not know what kind of changes you might have done, or maybe what kind of issue, or what can happen actually, right? That will be big challenges. That is why it is always good practice for us to have a separate branch based on the requirement. Let's say in my case, if it is a features, I will use a feature branch, or if it is a bug fix or any kind of this thing, based on the naming whatever you want, you can create a separate branch and work with specific branch itself. That means your environment itself, your code, you have isolated environment that you are working with, so that once everything is good, you can merge with your main branch. Basically you can you have to pull the request that. Okay, same thing it goes with the feature branch. So but here we have a different types of feature, different type of branch management we have. When I say branch management, what actually it means that we have create many branches, but how do we actually manage those branches, right? That is important for us to understand. So as you can see here, the first one is there are actually some of the example branch. When I say branch management, and these three are very much needed for us to understand. First is branch policy, why it is required, right? Then second is a branch restrictions, and third branch protections. So when I say the branch policy mean, it is a initialize, okay, initial safeguards. And if I say about the restriction, it is advanced safeguards. And if I say about branch protection, it is a minimize catastrophic actions. So we will see basically in each one of them, okay, in details. As you can see here, when I say the branch policy, it means that the branch policy are rules and restriction applies to the branch in a version control system. They enforce conditions such as code review, work item associations, successful builds, and approval before allowing code changes to be merged. Okay, these policies aim to maintain code quality, traceability, and structure development workflow. So as you can see, it says that it basically is a policy. When I say the branch policy, mean basically a rule, right? And also it's a restriction applies, rule and a restriction applies to where particular branch, wherever you're working on, right? And also is you can have you can have a condition like conditions such as code review. Somebody need to review a code, or work item association that and then build success, or if it require any kind of approval also you can have there. Some of the example here I have written. When I say branch policy, I can have, there are many other, but I have highlighted some of the important one. I mean, use cases. When I configure the branch policy, I can have a required a minimum number of reviewer. So as you know, whenever you working with any of the brands, you do modification with your branch itself now. And for some reason, you, let's say, you never know what kind of changes you made, or you may not be expert maybe in certain course or anything, right? So there should be somebody always in your team who are leads, or could be anybody who has more knowledge than you, so that he can, as an expertise, he can basically review your code, whatever changes that you have made in your particular branch. Okay, that can be reviewed by one of your senior person in your team. Okay, so here in this case, you can have a branch policy as that, such as minimum number of 2 person or maybe 1 person by this name should be reviewed whenever any changes happen in the branch. That kind of things can be done with the help of branch policy. Same thing, the second option we have is that check for work, check for link work items. It means that, as you know, whenever we create any kind of request, or any, whenever I do any kind of changes in the core or anything, there should be a request or there could be a requirement, right? Based on there be a work separate, we create separate brands and we work with particular brands itself. So in my case, when, if I say about creating a brand, that means could be there is a requirement. That is the reason I wanted to have a separate brands, or and I have created and I want to work with that. Okay. So in this case, so every single request there is a, we create a work item that in Azure, this is a repo, right? In Azure, not repo, in Azure boards. We create a work item. Let me show you example. Sorry. Let me, I will, yeah, it's taking time. Okay, I don't know why it's taking time. Anyway, so think example. Now you as an product owner or any kind of the person, or the, or maybe the PM, whoever, the project manager, or maybe any technical lead or whoever it is, depends on the project to project, it varies. Okay, let's say you have a requirement now. Somebody mentioned, let's say, I will just take an example of this one. This is one of the user test cases. Okay, I will just give small basic one. Okay, here I can take my features. Okay, I wanted to have this task basically. This one I wanted to create from my Azure boards. This was created by somebody or maybe one of your team, with one of your team. Okay, so now you mentioned here this basically is for user friendly, for navigation, tab for your application you need to work with. So that means this particular features you need to work in your code, right? So when I say, that is why if I have this branch policy, the things here, what happens now, I can create, sorry, is here. Okay. Huh. Okay. So work item, whenever I have any requirement that need to be linked always. That's how the best practice we do actually. What it basically does, encourages testability by checking for link work item on the pull request. So whenever you do pull request with your in your maybe GitHub or maybe Azure repos, based on that, again depends on you, that work item need to be request, I mean link basically, so that I know what kind of request that I have worked with, right? Or maybe particular person is worked with. That is important. Second, sorry, third one is that check for comment resolutions. This is actually useful if you see, like, check to see that all comments have been resolved in a pull request. So every single pull request, there should be a like a feedback, right? First, we review the things what is based on the branch, whatever you have worked with. You will first create a branch, and you do modification based on the whatever requirement is there, could be for features or any kind of this thing that you have made changes, and then you wanted to merge with some of the brands, or maybe you wanted to push to some of the brands. In my case, I will push to remote first, then I will basically um, pull request from my to my main branch. So in this case, when I say pull request, that time based on the requirement, they could be, you can have a different kind of like comments. Example, uh, let me just give an example. What I'm trying to say is that if I see the GitHub, this is my GitHub. Now, if I do some changes, let's say I don't have any change. This is my one. Okay, let me see just example. I'm saying if I set a pull request, I will just take example of staging, which we did yesterday. Okay, I don't have anything here. I will try with maybe some of the brands. Okay, here nothing. I don't have anything because we didn't do any changes. Anyway, let's say you have worked with some of the brands. I'll create some other system maybe otherwise. Other what I'll do, simple cases, I'll just create one sample here. Okay, let me check if I have here. Yeah, master staging. Okay, let's say this is one of the use case. Let's say as a developer or maybe as a DevOps guy, depends on the again now based on the requirement and your responsibilities, it matters. So think you're as a DevOps person now, you are working with some of the requirement in the project now. And also before that, you have created you are working with this requirement. You want to add a feature for navigation in your portal, right? In your applications. Now this is the work item was created by one of your team or maybe some other product manager or whoever it is. Okay. You have worked with now. Now think that you have worked already in your local system now, in your local system that you have worked with now. Let's say one of the brands now. Now you wanted to push this one to remote now. So right now you have got in a remote. That is your particular branch. In my case, it is a dev branch now, let's say. Okay, you have pushed in your remote branch. That is your dev branch. Till here are good. Now what I have to do is here comments we will put right when so I will check the whatever I'll first see what changes happen. If I see here whatever I see the green, that means in particular line you can see the what changes be made in the manifest a particular folder be made these changes. Green mean that you have recently made a changes. The orange mean that's your old one. Okay, old changes what was available before. Same thing it is for the here replica. Okay, so till here we are good. Now if I say here when I say request pull request, now I wanted to merge from my master brand basis master to my with my dev brands. So whatever changes I have in my basically dev brands, it has to merge with or get pulled into my master brands. See here, we can give us some comments. You can write any kind of comments based on the your requirement. Whatever you want to type, you can type like this is okay from us from me or whatever you want. You can type it based on them. So if there is any issue here, they will keep having the basically the conversation here also. Depends on the if you have attachment also, you can do it. Okay, if there is any issue means you can have this one or this is not okay, they will mention. So this has to get fixed. Okay, once it is done, they will review everything and you have reviewed the code also what changes we have made. If we are feeling okay, then we are going to basically pull request. In my case, if I see pull request here at comments, right? If I say put comment now, we will ask what comments, whether if you have there is a if you see here this branch has no conflict. If there is conflict, they will mention yes. Okay. So that's how they check. Is it comments whatever you put, whether if all okay or not, based on that you just mention. If all okay means here also the message should be there. That is why it was trying to say. Okay. Then we have it our limit merge type. Okay, live in merge type mean they have a different what kind of merging I can do. Like it, what it does is control merge history by limiting the available types of merge when pull requests are completed. Okay, we can have different kind of merge requests. So in what we will do, we will go particular in this particular right now, which is our branch policy. We will see how basically in actual technically it works, right? We have seen the definitions. Now let's explore actually in real case. Okay, now this is my repo. So when I say this one, whatever is the branch and all, we are talking about the Azure repos. Okay. So now you are working here. This is one of the repo. No matter what repo you're working with, the every single basically the repo have their own branch, right? So in my case, main branch also I have it. So let me take it here. Now then there is the option branch. Okay. Then we'll see what changes we had. Feature branch. We'll go to main branch. Teams project configuration repository. Okay, you have to go to run the project, then you have to go here, project settings, then you get here so many repositories. Then you see here the example. I will take one of the example of these projects. Okay, as you can see, we are here under particular the Agile project. We are under this project and we have settings under setting tabs. We have advanced security. This is very much useful. As you can see, as you can read here, protect your repository with security and analysis. Features like dependency scanning, code scanning, and the secret scannings. This, if you want, you can have it in your repo as well. But it is like you need to go with the billing part, everything that you need to understand that. We has a different billing system for that. So we will not talk much about that one. Here under repository settings, we have a fork that I have. We have only like this thing. If you want to enable the fork also, you can enable it basically. And if we have a commit mention linking, if you want during the commit, you automatically create links for work item mention on a commit comments. Okay, based on the commit also you can have with the hashtag. Then commit resolution mention work item resolutions, you can check that one. Example this one like that hash with the commit ID. And but we are talking with the actual what we are talking about. We will go with that only. If you want, you can disable also. Here nothing much to see. Explain also. This is the actual we are talking about policy, right? We are talking about a branch policy. Branch policy, right? So let's see. Now in branch policy, first thing if you see, there are so many options that available. But we will not be exploring everything. But it's good. You can check later whenever you get time. You can explore them. I will take on the use cases. You can have a if you want to have in a particular project with minimum file size, you can have that one. And here we have a branch policy. Okay, under branch policy, if I this thing, let me go one of the branch policy. You see here, require a minimum number of reviewer, right? That is what I was saying. Here, require a minimum number of reviewer. So what it does basically, require approval from specific number of member of reviewer in on pull request. So like I mentioned, as whenever you do any kind of changes, you have to pull request to your main branch. That time, before that, somebody has to review your code, right? Some expertise within your team or maybe some other team has to review the code. If all goes well or they are finding okay with your code, everything changes whatever you made, then they will take a decisions. Okay, we are good. If it is not good, then the step also I'm going to show you that also later. For now, if it is a good, whatever the option basically good or bad, they'll mention what how many person has to review my code when I do pull request, right? This one. So right now you understood. Now you have a code in your local, you pushed it in your remote. After pushing the code to your remote, now somebody you wanted to you wanted to basically what do you say that pull request to your main branch. But before that, somebody has to, when you pull request you do, somebody, any kind of expertise has to approve your code. They have to review first, then approve it basically. So you can have this one number reviewer 2%. Now you ask me, you can have some other conditions like allow requester to approve their own course changes if you want. Normally, if I say technically this is not a good choice, it is not recommended, not supposed to do it this one. It says that allow requester to approve their own changes. Suppose if you are the person who requests pull request, you have your own, like you are the person who you can approve your own code. Okay, but technically it is not a good way to do it that one, because somebody has to do it based on behalf of yours. This thing they have to verify and do it. Okay, and second option is they prohibit the most recent pusher from approving. So in my case, if it 2% mean 2%, you can have this thing when changes happen, push or push. Okay, you can have a different conditions like let's approve how many percent iterations. You can understand that later. So in my case, I'll just have a two. I don't want to do it now. I'll have two system. Then second one is again same thing. I can have this one. Check for link work item. Okay. So like I mentioned, every single like a requirement, you will have a work item created in place, and based on the request only you will be working with your code whatever it is, and that has to basically link with your work item so that they can trace whatever changes that you made, whether it is success or not, that they can trace. That is why it is very much helpful. And also command resolutions, which I mentioned now. If you have this kind of that, we can enable that also, whether required or recall option or depends on that, you can have it. And also limit time here, uh, like it's a control branch history by limiting the available type of merge when pull requests are completed. Whenever pull requests happen, you have to different kind of merge type. Okay, basic, then rebase, then okay, squares, then we have a rebase with commit. So based on the basically the your need, that you need to have the understanding this here. Then we have a validation. This we will check it later. We will not have much for now. Okay, then let's see what's next. Second one is our branch restrictions. As we the name itself says that when I say restriction, you are limiting something, right? You have limiting something for not being able to do certain tasks or certain action. So when I say branch restriction here, branch restrictions are like safety measures for your code branches. They set rules on who can merge changes, delete branch, or push updates. These restrictions prevent accidental mistakes and ensure that only authorized action happen, keeping your code safe and stable. It's very clear, because as we all know, we want to restrict something, that what and who can do what basically, right? So you have to define the rule, whether you want some person to he can delete the, whether you want them to allow to delete the branch or not, or could be they who can forcefully push your code to your remote repository or anywhere, right? This prevention, this because it will help you preventing any kind of accidentally somebody will delete something, right? Otherwise by mistakenly or by intentionally also depends, right? So you have to know who's authorized, who can do what. The simple was example we have here: will validation, status checks, automatic review, okay, and the push restrictions. These are some of them. Okay, so we will see this also. Check branch restriction. Before that, what we will understand, checks also. Okay, we don't have here. Okay, then we will have here automation. Sorry, bill validation. Okay, then this is not we. This one I'll explain this also a little bit. automatically include review. So this is important. I didn't explain this one, but I thought it's okay. It's good to discuss, explain this also. This is one very important. Automatically include, this will come in exam also. Okay. Automatically include reviews. Sorry, reviewers. What it basically does, mm, designate code reviewers to automatically include when pull requests or changes to certain area of code. In simple use case, think that you have your code in your uh, here. Let's say this is your code now. But if I say about this is ASP.NET based code, but apart from this one, you will have some other core as well. Let's say infrastructure related, or could be your security related, or could be your network related, right? Every single basically the this thing will have their own expertise. Let's say I'm a DevOps guy. I know only what about infrastructure related things, or could be some whatever I am expertise at. Same thing when I say the security mean, they are better than me. They know better than me, right? So they know what to include, what not to include, what to be included in the code basically in your pipeline. So this one, how do you manage this one? How can you actually collaboratively have the code review, right? This is why useful this one now. You can have what it does basically. You can have certain person to review in a certain area of your code. Let's say you have a different folder here. Let's say I am basically part of, I'm let's say in manifest folder now. This is more of the Kubernetes related. I know what is about deployment, or could be what is service, right? So if any other person like a developer or any other person from different team, if you are showing them, they will not be able to understand this properly. They get, I don't know what it means, everything, right? So these all basically, every single basically team will have their own responsibilities, right? So that is why this automatically include code reviewers will help you to collectively you can work with different team, and you can assign particular code to be reviewed automatically by based on the members basically. Let's say just see here, if I see here reviewer you mention, if you mention my name it will come here. Optional policy requirement, if you want you can, otherwise you can say folder. Now you see for pull request affecting this folder, which folder you wanted to add. Now in your code, go there, check the code, and you put the code here, I mean the part here, so that whenever you do a pull request, automatically this person, whoever you assign, will be notified that this is what change has been met, please go and review. Okay, you can have that one. And if you want to have any kind of this thing, you can have this also, activity fit messages. But this is important, this is actually important. So same thing, if you somebody is good at testing, okay, they work with some kind of Selenium or any kind of distinct tools for web testing and all. So you can mention the user their name and also which part of the code that he has to test it, basically, or review it basically. Not testing basically is a review. Okay, that they can check it. Okay, then security. We would like to understand this is a more of this thing. Before that, you have to understand one thing. If I mention, okay, here not mention. Maybe let me go here. Branch protection here. I will show you that also explore together. Okay. When I say branch protections are safeguards that prevent accidental or unauthorized actions like deleting branches or overwriting code history, ensuring the stability and security of your code base. Like you can have a prevent deletion. You don't, if you don't want some particular person or maybe team uh, from deleting that particular repo or any kind of the branch, yes, that is possible. You can have, because some people will be doing like accidentally or maybe intentionally, depends on the situations, right? And also private writing, overwriting, and also the brand's commit history with the force post that we already discussed. Okay, then so let me just show you something so that it will be easier. So when I say this, how basically the policy, all like branch policy, branch like branch management, how it works in the sense, they all work together basically in simple terms. But in a security related, You have a now DevOps project. This is your DevOps project, and the project, this is your project, right? Sorry, organizations. Under organizations, you have a project now. This is your project. That is my Agile project one. Sorry, 01, right? Under this project, I have basically multiple repo. Could be one or two repo. In my case, I have many repos. That's how the basically the hierarchy. So under here right now, if I this one I discuss policy, I explain. Same thing security related. If you see here permissions, right? It says that the user permission inheritance. What it means? Every single this thing will have their own groups basically. In Azure, this thing will have a different group. See here. And the Azure DevOps group, they have a different groups, whether it's a build, administrator, contributor. This will be created by default. Okay, that will be for every single this thing. But how the permission and all, how it happens, right? You want to, let's say you wanted to give some permission to particular person or group of people or team, right? So see example, I'll just give you, this is one of that group. If you mention anybody within this group, whatever permission you have in this group basically will be inherited by default. Example, this is one of the project, and the project, this is a basically a group as bill administrator. So what they can do, what kind of things they can just take a look what they say. They can edit the policy, whether you want to set to yes or no, you can have it. Then we have a manage permissions, whether you want them to manage the permission yes or no, or maybe not set, depends again. So when I say inherited means this is already coming from your project itself under your this thing. Okay. So rest will not be take consider here because this is not set. That means this should not be used. Whichever inherited, that will be affected, and whichever not deal like dename it, will ignore it. It will not allow you to do it. Okay, same thing for project administrator. It is again depends on the project. If you see like different roles for this project, if you just notice only contribute, under contribute I have only allow option. But if I see contribute, sorry, project related administrator, I have two. It depends on the group to group will have different kind of responsibilities and this thing. That by design, by default, it will be taken care by this thing, but you can have your own groups. Okay. So example, this one, I didn't say anything. And before that, one more thing I wanted to say that if I have a, let's say, where is my repository? Okay. Okay. Let's say I am working with this Agile project right now. Okay. Under this project, if I see here, where is that? Okay. Here. Mm, 1 minute. I just need to go back maybe. Don't know why it's taking time. The policy. Okay, no problem. What we will do directly, we'll go here only. We'll check from here only. Okay. So one thing is very important for us to understand. Okay. In just think, for example, you have a branch, main branch that is located in your Azure repos or this thing. Right now you have only one branch in our case, but sorry, I have two branches. Okay. Now let's say these feature branch, main branches, that is always the head, right? The feature branch basically is based on main branch. So whatever permission is granted here, that will be affected to your feature branch because that is your base branch, right? So if you have whatever permission you're given, automatically this will take it. So how the permission need to be given? Normally, we should not give full control to your main branch. Only you can have a based on the what requirement you have, you can give it if you want main branch. But normally, dedicatedly or specifically, you have to create separate branch and give some permission within the same branch itself. Like This is feature branch. Whatever permission I have given, this person also can do. Then this particular branch whoever working, this person also can do. That is why it is kind of little risky. So we don't have to do that actually. Okay. We- And also, if you want, sir, you can trace basically what kind of history changes be met, that you can check it. And I'll just explore some of the important things. Okay. Then we will go with the other things. You can work from here, and if you want here also, we have it basically. If you want to hide something, or if you want to zip, basically we can do all this. Cloning also possible. Okay. So if you want to explore your marketplace, you can see here basically in your project itself, under your project settings or whatever, you go here. This is basically marketplace where you can, under extension which I shown you yesterday, if you want to extend, install any extension, let's say Terraform or Ansible or Kubernetes, you can go and check that. So if I go extension, mean that is already available right now, you have already installed it in your basically organization level. Okay, that is there already. So in my case, this is all installed, so I don't have to do it. But if I have to do it from this class, let's see, if I don't have this one, I can go directly market store, and I can explore it whatever I want in my Ansible. In Ansible, I can type it. Just check which, based on that they are different. This is a Microsoft one, so I will use this only. Don't get it. Then you have to link with your organizations basically. So it's taking time. Okay, that's a thing. Then yeah, so once you try to install the extension, they're asking me select an Azure DevOps organization. That means that is my Azure DevOps organizations. I have three organizations in my DevOps. So I can select one of them. So this will be based on the extension. All extension will be based on your organization level. Okay. But if you talk about the service connection, everything that will be based on your project. Yeah, this is clear now. So we can install from here. Just download. That's it. It will get installed. Okay. Then now we are good with that one. Now you can see also extension if you want. Repository we explore it. You can have a in your basically organization also. If you want to have, you can have a different like I mentioned, third party SSH connection, public allow public project, whether you want to allow or you want to this thing depends on that. Again, that is defined in your project, sorry, organization level. Okay. And also we have a guest access also. Normally it will be enabled. You can disable or enable based on the requirement. You can do it. And this is organization level. We are just trying to explore some important things. Let's see. So projects means if you have project, this is the project which we have in our basically organizations. Okay, these are the project which we can see in our pipeline, and they have a user. Now in my case, which I was explaining about the rules, right? Projects specific rule. See, I can have a add a group rule. Okay, if you want, you can next question. In my case, I have three user. If I want to add one more user, you can have it here. Just add a username. And also here, if I say the user or service principal, in my case, a user and project, which project they want to be part of, that I can select. Okay. Then once you select with that at all. Sorry, I think I should not be doing at all. I'll cancel first. Uh, this is also one of the access level where we need to understand. First is your access level. That is in your organization level. Okay, basically, okay, we have this thing. We have a basic this thing. Basic mean anybody can do any small task. Test plan mean like somebody who wants to do your testing as well, like test what do you call the test engineer or any kind of UI testing or anything. You need to assign them. If you don't have this plan, you cannot they cannot test basically. stakeholder basically some particular thing you want to give access to them. They can only review your projects basically. They can have they don't have much control over things. Okay, but this should be free. But this should be paid. This all will be this will be paid again. You have to pay. This is a pay. This you have to buy a subscription. If I say they lost the project, say they get you get an option. You can invite them. So in my case, I will just select this one. I think I should. Mm, okay. So in my case, if I say the stakeholder or whatever permission depends on the project or requirement, that you can choose that. Okay. So this person now, this is a test plan now. But test plan, if you see that, I will show you why we require that one. And okay, that we will show that. So we have now done this one. Then we will ask the billing. Here is important that again in your organization level. This is your MS hosted CI/CD. That is for every. If you remember, whenever we basically do our CI/CD pipeline, we will have to, as in basically you can shell hoster. We have a one shell hoster, right? That is basically one we can have, and this is the minutes we can get it. If you have multiple, you have to pay for that. Multiple parallel jobs. Then we have a basic. Uh, just to understand for your information, whenever I have in my that is my this particular organization level, I can have a 5 basic users free as a free. If you want to have more, then you can buy. And if you want to have a like a test plus basic plus test plan, that is again you can see try ended. So I have tried this one, so it is complete now. 1 month you get a trial, then it will be expired. Okay, you have to pay for that. Now if you want to go with the test plan everything, then you need to pay for them. Okay, then we also have our stakeholders. You can see here, just to understand, default access to for new users by default the stakeholders. What it does, stakeholder basically will have only the limited things to do. They can't do much anything, just that they can review your project, they can see work item, they can see overview of your projects, everything. They can see what's going on, they can check that one. They will not have any access to do any kind of activities. But okay, but that's how they by default assigned to stakeholders. And the advanced user active committers. So we don't have to think much this one. Artifacts we have this much now. Users limit 2 GB. But Microsoft says it is this thing, but now it is 2 GB on the giving. Anyway, this also we don't have to explore much. Okay, we will not explain this nothing much here. I'll just explain what is important. This is important. Like if you have your, let's say you have a, now in my case, I have connected with my Azure Active Directory. That is my directory. If you have a user who are with part of your Azure Active Directory, right? So instead of giving them access manually or maybe this thing, you can directly connect with them using the directory your Microsoft Intra. Okay. Now name got changed. Before it is a Microsoft Active Directory. Now name got changed. Now it is a Intra now. Okay. So they have you can basically connect with them, and also then what if you connect with the particular directory. If you see here, default directory is my, this is a directory, default directory with this particular tenant. Only this particular person, whoever basically in particular directory will be listed. Basically whenever you want to give any kind of permission or anything, then you will be able to search from your Azure DevOps portal itself. Okay, you don't have to this thing. You can directly search from your and give the access based on requirement. I think we have, yeah, we have discussed this already. Permission also we have discussed. Okay, group permission. I think permission builds. Okay, that's why I was showing that time. Same here, like you see here. This is again under your organizations we have it. Okay, so what you can see here, this is a by default groups are there already. 9 groups are there. So even you can create separate groups, and you can assign the users. This is the user whoever are available here. Okay, you can assign the user. So in my case, let me create one, maybe see how what permission is. Okay, group name is DevOps group. Okay, now under this one, if you want to add now, you can add, or you can add it later. In my case, I will not add it for now. I'll keep it as it is. You want description, you can give it. Let me create. So right now your description is always good to keep in my case, but in for us we didn't give, but it is good. You have to keep the for what purpose you are creating, so that will be easy for others to understand. Okay, so let me go inside. As soon as you go inside, this is a permission tab where you see the what kind of this thing. Now here, what normally you do, you create a separate groups based on your requirement. Who can do what, you will define in your group permission itself within your group. Let's in my case, whatever I want. If I don't want, I can say this, if this is by default. Okay, this is by default, it is taken. Some of them will be like creative workspace will be by default, and also bill of issues also by default came from your organizations or project. Okay, rest are not there. So what I can do is, if I want whatever I want based on the requirement, whether I want to go with both anything, I can give a allow or deny based on that. Whatever basically whatever I need to, I can just give this one. Okay, in my case, I let's say I don't know. Let's say in my case, I just given this one. Let's say okay. Once I give this thing, what I'll do, I'll go with the members. Right now I don't have any members. I can add a members now to this group. I will give this one. So this particular person also now member of this particular DevOps group. Now this is a members of. If you have some other thing, you can add members of. Whether you can be, this can be a member of any other this thing also user. Okay. In my case, if I use here, you can create a group. Other if you have this thing, you can be have. But we don't want to do this one because we just want members I want to add and we want to give permissions here. Okay. Then this is if you want, you can change your photo and all. You can delete here if you want. Okay, that's we are good. Then once we are done, we will. I don't know why I saved it or. Okay, it is coming. Okay, so that's how we can add it now. We can manage it here itself. So you don't have to create. You don't have to use the default branch. Sorry, default your group. You can create separate group and assign the role whatever you need it, and you assign the group to particular uh, group, so that whatever permission you given in your group itself will be inherited for all users. Okay. Then this also I have agent pools in the sense like which we discussed that time. Um, we can have a self-hosted or maybe Microsoft. Okay, self-hosted means that is you managed by you. It has a complete like control by your organizations. But if I say the self-hosted, sorry, your Microsoft hosted, that is managed by Microsoft. It is only being used when there is a bill during the build process. Let's say whenever you run the pipeline, only that time the bill will be that it will be used. Then it will be destroyed again. So you will not have any control over your infrastructure. Okay. Deployment pool also we don't have to. Anyway, this is we don't have to explore much now. Uh, yeah, we don't have to do much. So okay. So we will go next. We will not go much to this thing. So be understood. And also, one thing we can have a prevent deletion. Like if you want to log the basically lock your this thing brands, you can lock so that other person cannot do your pipeline also. uh, Let me check and go organizations projects. uh, No, I maybe okay. That anyway, that I'll do later because that is another topic. We will cover it there in the next this thing. Okay, first we understood this one, then we will understand this. This is important. So this one we will be understood. This one we will actually whenever we are working with this thing, we will do hands-on whatever available. Okay. For now, we have understood that whatever we have in our portal. Now we will understand about discovering a brand strategy, right? Why we use, why we need branching strategy. Okay, we have some of the example, not example, some of the cases like trunk-based branching, and we have a feature or task branching, feature or flag branchings, release branching. This all in any of the project you go, this all the strategy branching strategy being used, right? But we have to understand why we have to use one another, right? So we have to understand our requirement. We need to understand the advantage and disadvantage of using each one of them, and we have to decide based on what to use and what not to use, right? So let's see. So when I say the why branching strategy, right, why it is so important. First, as everyone know, it is a isolates work. It isolates your work, keeps development efforts separate to prevent conflicts. Definitely, that's one of the reasons that we use a separate branch. If you create any kind of changes within your same branch itself and multiple people are working with the same branch and do many changes, definitely it's the biggest you will have a lot of issue during merging, right? So the time during the pull requests also, that is why the conflict may happen in many ways. That is why it is good to have a the branching strategy, okay, which which will help us to isolate our work. Second is a facilitates collaboration. Definitely, that also one of the point. Enables parallel work and structure code reviews. If you have particular branch, you know what changes you made, or you can go particular branch and you can check the code review and see if all like looks fine. You can based on the next this thing, you can confirm it that whether it is okay or not. Then also support release management. Okay, helps manage releases, hotfix, and versioning. It also has a it manages your releases and also hotfix and also the versioning. And also the third, sorry, fourth one is streamline CI/CD integration, CI/CD pipeline. That is your integrates well with your continuous integration and continuous deployment pipelines. We use it because we know if we work with particular brands, whenever we use our CI/CD pipeline, then we can basically push the code to particular brands, and we can during the pipeline also we can review everything, like we can work with that. Then mitigates risks also, that is one of the point. Okay, provides a control environment for testing and validations. If you have separate brand, definitely you can have full control over your within the uh, environment or within your brands. That will help you out for testing or validation of your code. Let's understand the first one. So when I say the brands, let me okay. So when I say rank based branching, this is one of the is commonly used, and but we will see why we have to use and what why not to use. Okay, this is like if I say the branch, like if I say about the trunk based branching, right? Developer, if you just read this one, developers push directly to the main code, main branch code. Basically the main branch, they will push the code to the main thing. See example, if you see the diagram here, um, okay, this let's say this is a code. Here you see one more release is there, one more release here, different branch, they have everything. Okay, basically the developers will push directly code to your main branch, main branch basically. Okay, so what happens now? Let's see if I code directly to the main branch basically. It what is the pros and cons, right? So is it for really if it is small like project or small kind of this developer that you're working as a team, it is good because we will have a less work and you can easy to review also. It's good. But if you're working with a large company or large project in your this thing organizations, then it will be difficult because it will be like I mentioned, it will be only one branch then it will be a code review, large code review process, and also marks conflict definitely will be happening because you're working with a particular or in the same branch itself. So many people are working with the same branch and do lot many changes, and then they try to merge the code. Basically, they wanted to this thing. Then code review also it will be big difficult definitely, and also the kind of the conflict also will be happening because we don't know what changes you made in what level, right? Within the same branch. That is why. Then we have a feature or task branching. This is very good. Uh, it's in every almost developer or any kind of DevOps person. They use this strategy actually. This is the feature or task branching. So what it does basically, branches are created for each feature or task. So example, you have a requirement where you wanted to do some modification with your applications. Let's say one of the features that I wanted to modify based on the requirement. The work item is created and that you want to work with particular work item now. Now see, for example, now you the main code is there now. This is a main branch you have everywhere, right? This is a main branch. Now code is there, everything here. You will clone code to your local system. Okay, you will clone and you will go particular directory, which is your repo directory, and you will go create separate branch. Okay, they'll create branch as let's say feature one. Under this under development, this thing we have two branches. I have, let's say I created branch name as feature one. Now under this branch, what I did was I created this branch and then I switched to this branch, particular feature branch, and then I have done many whatever the changes that I want. I have completed that. I have completed my changes. Okay, based on the whether it is for a feature or any particular requirement or task, whatever. Okay, then once it is basically modify your code based on the requirement, then you will push the code to your remote repository, and once everything is okay, then you will what you will do again, you will the code will be reviewed by one of your expertise or your team. Once they review one, they find okay with your code, then they will pull requests, they will compare everything definitely, then they will merge with your main branch. Okay, this is one of the use cases and it is used widely, this particular branching strategy. Okay, whenever you have any requirement, could be a small or bigger changes, it is always good to have a separate branch. Like in my case, depends on the requirement. Like if you talk about the feature branch you create, if it is a issue mean bug fix related, you can mention any related naming convention, you give that one. It should be a not that much name, should be very convenient, it should be a concise. Don't keep the branch name as long as you can. Okay, make it as short as possible, and it should be a kind of identical. In the sense, it should be, you should be able to understand what this branch means. Okay, like that. So in my case, so they created separate branch and they work with them, then they push to remote and they could pull the request, and then they review the code, everything is okay, they merge with your main branch now. So this is one of the way we can do it. Example, sorry, pros and cons we have, like enable independent and experimental innovations, then easy to segment and easy to implement ci workflow. And but older features difficult to merge if you have multiple merge because they have changed many things. Then in this case, we can have it will be a little difficult to merge them. Let's say you have a code something uh, maybe 1 week before, or maybe anything like any old code, that will be this thing. But it is possible, it's not this thing. You have to go with a particular id, then you have to merge with them. Every single commit you get a merge that basically the commit id, right? With the refer of that one, you can merge them. Okay, then what's that? Okay, now we have, this is also important to understand, and this is called as feature flag branching. Use feature during development to make independent features lifecycle. So what it does with developer work, features directly in the features directly in the main branch. They work in the main branch in your here. They work with your main branch. This is your main branch, right? They work here, but the feature, whatever you're working with here, let's say whatever you're working, let's say you want to work with some of the features. I want to add something like, in my case, some tab I want to, or maybe some navigation button I want to add for my application now. You have in your branch itself, in your, basically you have in your particular branch itself, but you want to add some features for that one. So what I can do is I can use the flag, this thing, okay? So what it does basically, okay, in the main branch, but the feature will be hidden, okay? Whatever you basically hear, it will be hidden. No one will be, it is not visible to others also. It will only be visible person who does that, okay? So it will be hidden, or it controlled by the feature flags using your this one feature flags. That will be controlled by them. That means you will not have any visibility who did what. It will not affect anything, okay? Then what they will do is feature flags a conditional statement that determines whether a particular feature should be active or inactive. So you can have an option like where you can, whether you want to active or deactive, mean inactive or active, that depends on you. You can think of that. And then what it does basically approves, okay? So once everything good, like what they will do is, but this approach basically why it is used, okay, for continuous integration of your feature development while controlling the release of your those feature independently. So whatever you working with here in this basically main branch, you will not affect to any of the branch because it is hidden somewhere, it is okay. So only whenever your code is basically the feature has been added everything, then they can be available in your main branch. So in simple uh, the case, what how we can say is that basically when I say the what I say feature flags, basically to control the feature visibility. Certain feature you have, right? You want to have the visibility, you can control that one in the main branch itself. Okay, so that it will not affect or it will not be disturbed to any other uh, branches. And this is branch. Sorry, what I say the release branching. So release branch, why it is used first? As you can see, this is a main branch. We have a release one and development. We have in development, we have two different branches, right? So just what it does basically, when I say the release branch, basically, it basically it prepares for and stabilize the code of a specific release. Let's say you want to have some release where you want to deploy um in your pipeline. Let's say, okay. So you want to have that one. You want then what happen? You will what you will do is then you will assign that time some other issue is coming. Let's say you want to basically have a release for particular requirement, and you create a separate release branch now. Once it is defined now, what you will do is you will be working with your branch only. But then if there is any other issue which is there in your other branch, right? Let's say you will not touch in main branch, you work with your other release branch only, okay? So whatever changes you wanted to do, that you will do here only in your release branch. Okay. Once it is done, the changes or whatever features that you wanted to add or any kind of addition that you want to work with that one, they will merge again back with your main branch basically. So first they work with your whatever changes they want, they will do modification here, everything in your one of the branches based on whether it is issue. It could many ways, it could be issue also, you can work, or features you can add, or anything that you want you can work it. One, this code is been reviewed or one everything is good, what they will do as a release pipeline, they also merge with your main branch. So what will happen is now that this can be used now because this is working fine now, and this also be useful for your future reference also, so that other release will be helpful when you work with your main branch. So let's say what it has like a suppose multi-version in parallel. You can have multi-version and also customization for specific customer, because like I mentioned, you have a requirement where you have defined based on that you have defined certain features or certain back issue fix everything, you have fixed it, and it is also merged with your main branch. That means your merge branch, sorry, main branch itself stable now. So at the same time, when other customer comes also, you can say, this is the release branch that we have used it, or maybe this thing, this is a working code or working the this thing, we can use it this one. Or maybe same thing, if other customer comes also, similarly, we can work and we can give them. So we don't have to work from the scratch again. Okay. And also focus on a specific issue per patch or release. That's already discussed here. Okay. If any issue also that you can fix it here itself. But the if what I see here, difficult to maintain, cannot have a many changes or contributors. Potentially create more work for teams per version. Okay. But if you want this also we can do. But like I mentioned, this one, I think, sorry. This one we can use normally. In our cases, mostly we can use with this one. Stop using this one. Release branch also use widely. Depends on the your complexity and application that you can think of doing which one to use what. Then we will understand the about the understanding the pull request workflow. So whenever I use the pull request, how basically backend or maybe the basically the flow exactly happen. Whenever I say pull request, I will assign the request to somebody, could be any reviewer, whoever. They'll you will assign to somebody, right? Once you assign, the code review person or reviewer person will review your code. Okay, they will review your code. Once your code is ready, sorry, good. Like they feel like whatever the requirement is there, your code seems to be good. Then if it is yes, they will approve your code. Basically, they'll approve the request. Once approve is done, then they will merge it. And if you see like instead of this thing, if it is not good, then the request will be like a request changes. Request will be changed. Okay. Then it will go what they will other person will be who are working here. Basically, the person who's working here, they'll do some changes in the code, and they will again send because this was only assigned here. They'll this person again will be review the code. In once he reviews the code again, if it is good, he will again approve and merge it. Okay. Then we also have our branching permissions in Azure repos. How branch permission works. Okay, let's see if you can. Okay, we will explore this also a little bit. We don't have to go in deep that. Anyway, we will be learning that later. For now, just a small thing we can work. So I think we have already discussed this one. We don't have to discuss because it's a branch related. We'll ignore this one. Okay, so we can see how the branch permission works. Let me see. If you can see here, this is under branch. Okay, under branch we have this thing. So this one, right? So we will understand first how the branch. When I say the permission, basically it works, right? The first one is access the branches menu from the existing portal that I have already went here. Then from the portal, the branch security. Okay, then we will check this one. So we will go branch security under this kind of thing. We will see what we have it. Here we will go one of these things. Just go there. There is an option. Then we have here branch security and branch policy behavior. Right? Same thing we discussed that time. Similarly, we have here branch security. So it is discussing about which one. It is asking the branch permission. Okay, branch permission. Okay, we will go with the security. Let's see. Same thing what we discussed that time. We went here. Okay, we can have a branch. If you now you can basically assign the particular this thing. If you see here, security for main branch. Okay, main branch in particular project. That's why I was mentioning that time. Okay, you have a projects, and the projects you will have multiple repository. So in my case, it is one of the main branch in particular this thing, the basically repo for this project. Now you can have what permission you need to everything. You can basically give them permission based on your requirement. Okay, you can create here. or same thing, what kind of access or you want to give that you can define here. Okay. Second, sorry, I have to show one more. Here also is the inheritance. Okay, it's already done from your project, from project or sometimes even from your organization also. Then we have it branch policy. Branch policy also already be discussed here also. Okay, we don't have to discuss, already be discussed about this one. We will ignore this one. Okay. Then we have a branch log. Like why branch log is used, right? Basically, thing for example, branch log basically read only mode, no new commits, cannot change existing commit history. When we can use it, pair with a pull request or prevent changes while being reviewed, remove branch logs. We can remove who can do that one? Users who logged it. Who can remove the branch log? Person who logged the branch itself can be unlocked. And the project administrator, and also explicit removes log permission assigned. So if you want, you can assign the permission specifically remove log base, okay, to your particular branch. Okay, then we will see this one branch log. Uh, Let me check. Let me go one of them. Not sure. You can have in your pipeline also many other things. Anyway, that we can have a status trigger settings and all. But hitting we can disable. This is not the one. The branch log actually I am also now doubt where I this thing. I need to search that one. Anyway, that I will show you later. It is somewhere here in your branch itself, but I don't get that now. Okay, I will show you that later. I need to search that. It will be somewhere here on a branch only, but not showing. I don't know why not showing. Hmm. Oh, here. Yeah, I got this one. It is here on. Okay, it is same only. I was I don't know. I didn't see this one that time. Okay, here same only. We can have a branch log. We have discussed about the branch security policy, and then we discuss about the branch log. Okay, branch log. If I click here, uh, see, it is. If I click here again here, see, it is as a log. This is now I can say unlock. Okay, unlock branch. So meaning, why in simple use cases when I have to use it. Example, you have now your pipeline is there, everything is there. For some reason, you want to restrict there particular person cannot work or cannot do any modification within the branch. In my case, this is my main branch example. Yeah, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, this is my main branch. So I wanted to restrict people, okay, so that they cannot do any kind of changes or they cannot run the pipeline also. Whenever I run the pipeline will be fail. Or could be sometime whenever if there is any other issue, sorry, not issue, like they wanted to modify a pull request something, you will not have anything. They can't do that because it is locked. So who can unlock that one? Person who does these changes only. Like if I'm the person who unlock, sorry, who logged it, I can only be able to unlock them. Okay. Rest we will explain anyway later things. This one will not be covered now. I think we can. Okay. This one we will not cover now. I will see something else. Repository related brands. I think okay, I think little only I will cover it up. No problem. I can think. And also, team, like we need to understand about the removing the repository data. Depends on the situation again. We have a like reviewing the Git data, how we can remove the data and unwanted file state, how we can do that, and we will see some scenario also. Okay, but we will see what we can do. Like if you have in a project, let's say you have a problem like deleted files from new commit still exists in your repository, so repository, right? Or could be you have a like you have a large file, you have sometimes the sensitive data. Let's say you have password and thing. Okay, I want all the unwanted files in the Git you can listing. How I can avoid that, right? So and also you wanted to some like basically still discoverable by searching the through history that I will explain later. Solution: you have to remove the bad commits before or after pushing to a remote code. That means if you push some code in your remote repository or maybe in your local system where sorry local Git whatever it is, so you have an option to revert back everything, right? So that we will see like two stairs of unwanted files removable. There are two different way. If I want to, let's say you have pushed the code to your remote or can be sometime in your local itself, you have basically commit your code. Now I wanted to basically go back in the sense I wanted to revert that one. I want to revert back. Okay. Let's say in my case, the first one is a local commit, but not yet pushed. So you might have done the git, sorry, git, then you put a first is a git add, right? If I git add, then if I use, then what happens? It will be moved to your staging, right? But if I put the commit, also you have committed from your staging to your local repository. But in case like a commits like on a local environment, but not yet pushed to the remote. But you did not use the command call as git push commands, right? So what happens still it is the code is there in your local branch itself. It is not moved to your remote. Okay. What we can do is we can use there are two different we can remove amen. Okay, we can use amen. Amen what we will do git amen we will use and then the message name, the last commit name, whatever you mention. Let's say commit is single commit, will have a commit ID with a commit name you have to mention as a message. Okay. Then if we have already pushed to your remote, then that will be another way. Then in this case, we have to remove the remove the commit also. Then we can also remove the unwanted history also using your kbits. Okay, that we will see later how we can actually work. So in my case, like I mentioned, we can do using the if it is like remove git from your three index. That means this is your locally now. This core is you have pushed now. It is within your local itself. In this case, we can use a git rm, then dash dash cache is nothing but you in your local repo, and then file name whatever that you have added because you mentioned that some particular uh, sensitive information that you have. So I wanted to remove. So I can mention this one. Okay. So delay or amend previous commit depending on what other like data changes. So based on the requirement again, it varies again. If you want to use this commit also, I can use it. Until a remove commit, if you want to remove completely, just use this commit. Git reset hash. Sorry, hat then this. Okay. If you use this one, the entirely whatever in the previous step, whatever you have done, completely the commit, it will be removed basically or deleted. Then amen is very useful. What I can use if I have to like what do you say? See here git commit dash dash amen then commit name. whatever you mentioned, commit name, you can give this one here. So this basically whatever changes you're doing in your local listing, basically that will be amended. Okay, that I have already discussed in our last session also. uh, okay, that will be using amend. Yeah, this also we can do using your remove commit already pushed to your remote repository. If you have already pushed your report to your remote, this thing we can use reset back, sorry, reset back to last good commit. This is depends on the requirement. Again, if you want, you can do, like I mentioned, every time whenever I use the git push or a git commit, whatever commit I use it, I get a the commit hash, right? Commit hashtag, I get it, hash id. So this is the id there. Every single commit we get id. So if I see here, sorry, I think I didn't know any kind of thing. Okay, I'll mention git develop. I think I had to initialize this thing. Let me check something. Git. How can okay, I'll save it here. Okay, then git it. Then git commit. Then commit name, right? Yes. Let me. Okay, I'll just try to git push. Okay, I don't know. Do chain. Okay, anyway, otherwise we can directly have it here. I can show you that it will be stop spending so much time. Uh, okay, yeah. We get this kind of ID, right? Every single commit we get an ID, right? This ID we get it, right? Every single terminal we get as one of the this one of the other ID we get it. If you see same thing, they get it. So that is why it was saying that one. Okay, sorry. Here, this you can use that one. So if I use this one, git reset dash dash her, then it will be releasing. Okay. Then we have a force push to remove the commit. If you can this push the force. So this was a branch policy. We can have if you want, if you don't want this to be happen, you can restrict in your branch policy, which we discussed that time. Then also all branch commits plus the reset one will be deleted. Okay, we will not. There is nothing much here. Uh, master delete error, error. This also will not be okay. This also we can understand. Like if you have a reaction where branch if you got deleted, you can restore it, but you should know the branch name. Okay, if you like if branch got deleted, how you can recover that one? You can check that one. So in my case, this is good. If you this is feature branch. Let me go here. new branch we have it. So I mean the main branch. Let me go main branch. Okay. We'll create some test sprints. Why the option is not saying we need to. Branch name we have. I think you can delete. Okay, this one I'm not. I don't know why it's not showing here, but I will show you later. Okay, this we can delete the branch also. Maybe I need to check that this thing. Anyway, that I will show later. You have to go here. Sorry, I didn't go to all brands. I went to all brands only, but why it's not showing? Okay. Sorry, I didn't go to brands only. I didn't click in. I have to click on the main brands. Sorry, brands. I didn't click there. I just went inside. Okay. So in my case, I can see this one. You can see the brands, right? So always, I always forget to go here. So you have to go always brands. Then you can also delete brands. So in my case, I will delete it. Let's see in my case, version feature, the branch feature. This particular branch will be deleted. Okay. So let me delete. But I need to know the branch name before that. If I forget, so it is gone now. Okay. Then I can just go here for the branch name. If you first here, if you just type, it will come. It will not come like that. Okay. You have to type the proper name. Whatever name is there, you have to type same name. See here. If I click, see if I have, it will not come. If I type this, there is no any kind of this thing. It should be a. You should know the proper name. Then only it will come here. Okay. So right now I have typed it. My whatever name is there, I have typed same as it is. Then if I click here, there is an option to restore the branch. Okay. So always don't forget him. I always forget here. We have to once we go to the project and the project go to the always branch. Anytime if you want to work with the branch, you go on the branch. Then only it will go to the whatever settings are there under the branch itself. Okay. So in my case, in the right now only one branch. So let me restore it. So I'll just type same branch name. So I can see. If I type with this thing, then I can just go restore branch. Successfully restored. Okay. Successfully restored. No, we can refresh it. So you can see two branches now. Okay, that's how we can restore. Uh, this is we don't want now. That is we need to get you all API and all, so that we can do it later, or we can then. What is this for? Huh. This one is the I have shown many times, but then you can try at home. If you want to recover your deleted branch from Git, also you can do it. Okay, if you delete the branch in your Git, let's say Git branch, then branch name you have the has commit name. The Git checkout, you go particular branch name. Okay, if you know the branch name, you can go like that. So go check out. Suppose your branches got deleted and all, how we can do git branch, git branch, then branch name you give. So whenever you put the branch name, we have to get the last commit. Let's say you work with, let's say you work with one of the, let me check. So I didn't go inside. How come I was there? It is not showing me inside. I was not went inside. That's why. Okay. So if I type now, it will come now. Mm, Bronze Vaishya. See, I have two branches. That time it was not showing. The reason was I was not inside the. I didn't go inside of your repository. I was outside of your repository. That is why that time it was not showing. So I went inside now. So that is showing now. Okay. Now let's say I want to do one of them. It says now git branch. Okay. Git branch, then branch name, then hash out. If you commit hash code, you can do that one. So git checkout, then branch name. So whenever you create, let's say your branch name as something dev branch, you forgot now. In my case, it is a this one. So what I'll do now, git status. Think for example, I will do here. This is one commit ID I got, right? I'll take this one. Okay, I'll take this one. What I'll do is I'll just copy this one. Now let me check where I'm sitting. Git branch. Sorry, git branch. Then I'll check. I'm sitting in the staging now. Let me go to main branch because I want to delete this branch. But with this branch, I have already took the logs. Or what I'll do is I can go back and git checkout. I want to switch to my main branch, right? Main branch. If you go in the same branch, you can delete it. Okay. Who's this? Okay, sorry, I was saying is here. So now I went here. Now let me check git branch. Git branch. Then I mentioned the branch name. Sorry, I wanted to see first what is there. Which currently where I'm sitting. Also, I can check here. I'm in the main branch now. Now I want to delete this one. I want to restore it. Right. Let me do that. So git branch d. D is nothing but to delete. Sorry, not the branch name. Then I'll mention the branch name. It is just staging. This is for deleting your branch, this particular staging branch. What is the error? Oh, spelling wrong. Sorry. Branch, git branch, then dash d. Okay. Warning. What it says now, it deleted branch. Okay. Anyway, that I don't care. I will just delete it. So let me just check git branch again. I'll check what is there now. Now I have only main branch now. Okay. Now there is a requirement now. So let's say for mistakenly you have deleted this branch. How do I recover, right? How do I recover this branch now? So what I will do is, let's see. It says now, if you know the branch name, okay, if you know the branch name, you can recreate the branch using git branch, then branch name with the hash commit. But if you don't know the branch name, how will I do? Then I use a git using the git ref log. That is what I was using. And why I want to use the git ref log? Because I want to check the whether to find the commit hash. Because I know the similar like a name, let's say staging or maybe stage that I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure if this case, then you can use these comments git ref log. So that will help you to find your commit hash. So once your commit hash if you get, it remains same again. With the commit hash, what you do, git branch, then branch name you create with the commit hash name. So let's say we will understand two different situations. This is means if you already know it. If you don't know, in my case, we don't know. Okay, we will see. We will use the what is a git, sorry, git ref log we will use first. Then we get a we will get the ref log. Sorry, not ref log. What is a commit hash? Git then ref log. Now is here. What is the last commit for this staging? This is red. No, last commit for staging was this is a one hat changes to Hirian Tripura. This is the last commit. Whatever is there. I don't have any other commit message with this ID. Sorry, not ID branch. Let me take this one. Okay, hashtag. Sorry, not hashtag. Commit has I taken. Now I use a git. Let me check what it says. Git branch, then branch name. Same thing only. Users instead of typing the if you use normally also you use the git branch then branch name, right? So but we add another additional that is commit has. Okay, so that the same thing will be created. So let me check git branch, then branch name is the same branch. I'll copy the same branch name staging. Then I copy the this, right? I'll just paste it this one. I pasted this one. Now if I check git branch, staging I have it. Now in inside staging, let me check. Can maybe okay. Now let me go inside staging. Git staging. Sorry, not staging. Git checkout. Git checkout. Then staging. Yeah, git checkout. I have been inside. Now what I can check simply whatever I have it. I have my code. I can check it. Okay. So in your case, what you can do if you want to test this one, you do some changes in your existing branch and delete the branch. Okay. Once you deleted the branch and you keep keep remember whatever you do you have done in your branch, you just make a note that one and delete the branch fully. Then you restore it and go back and check in the same branch and see whether whatever you have done before, whether it is available or not. In my case, we have not done that because we don't have time. That we can try that way. Okay. So create some files or anything in the branch and modify something and try commit that one first. Don't merge with the main branch. Just commit it and come back. Okay. That you can check that way so that you will be having confidence now that I have done it before, but for now I don't have time. So we will not be doing much. Okay. I think that's all for today's sessions because we are almost completed 2 hours. If you have any question, please feel free to ask team anybody. Next week we will start with other sessions. I mean this thing. Let's see what we have it. 95. Okay, I was explaining about this one. Uh, this one we will maybe cover. I don't know if we can do it today or tomorrow also. I mean, you can do it. If you want to learn more about this one, you can go with the module number 9. That is your discovering pipeline health monitoring. It is very uh, essential for us to work whenever we work with our pipeline, right? We need to troubleshoot many things, right? So in this case, we will understand like scenarios for monitoring pipeline health and pipeline reports, why it is used, and pipeline pass rate and test rate.
test pass rate and the pipeline duration. These all will be actually you have to understand this little bit, so that whenever any issue comes when in your company or in the project, you will be able to handle it. Because sometimes if you don't know this any of them, then during the running your pipeline or any kind of this thing process, you will be facing a lot of issue. So it is good to understand, like we will have, like when I say the monitoring pipeline health, we have like troubleshooting pipeline problems, like we have different kind of problems. Failing builds, if failing build happens, mean what could be the reason, or if it is a failing test, what I have to check. If it is a long build time taking, why it is taking time, how do I verify that one, how can I come, mean how can I basically resolve the problem. So those all will be here everything. So just have a look once anyway, maybe we will see if we can cover, we will see this also. And discovering pipeline health monitoring, that is, if I talk about this one, whenever I say pipeline health monitoring, means anything related to your pipeline monitoring related, you can. This is the only way we can check pipeline report. So pipeline report has so many options where we can check it. So I think we will take next 10 minutes and we will try to complete this also. Maybe let's see. Okay. Okay. So pipeline here we will have a pipeline rest pass rate, and also we have a pipeline test pass rate and also duration. Okay. We will see in actual use cases. Let's see. Mm, we will take next 10 minutes and try to complete. Let's see. Uh, okay, so what we will do, we will check yesterday's things, what we have worked, and how we can check the logs or anything. Basically, we'll see that. Okay, we will go with the first one. This and all, I don't have to explain. This already discussed. What is the question? Sorry, what is the thing? Pipeline test. We will do review. Then pipeline duration, pipeline test run. I think what we will do. This again maybe we need to go with the Scratch then in this case, because we need to run the pipeline and we need to show you everything. So what we will do, team, for now I think we will end this session here, because I need to run the pipeline and I will have to show here this report. So basically, so in the real case, uh, using the analytics, using code coverage, test, this thing, everything we have to show you. Okay, so what we will do, we will maybe see if next week, maybe if not, we can see when we can work, because we don't have much this now. We can show only the what is existing. We can check this also. Okay, so yeah, this is the I was saying. We can see your pipeline pass rate. If you want to check, you can just go review this one. If there's any field, how many, basically this is based on the pipeline what you have here. In this particular pipeline you have created two times basically. Then you go here, not branch also you can check what if there is an issue. And here you can see the analytics. There you can see the pipeline rates, pass rate, I mean, then test pass rate, and we have a pipeline duration, right? So when I see the test pipeline pass rate, basically in simple terms, it says that it means that the number of pipeline what you build and how many got passed. So in my case, I run two pipelines, out of which two got passed. That is why it is rating as 100%. If you want to see the more details, you can check this way also. You get more of the option this way. Okay, you have total two out of two, right? Two out of two. That means two up two. That means you have two pipeline where I have run, all two got passed. All right. So if you have multiple like date also, where you can also filter based on that also, it is possible. So that's it. We don't have to see, but it is good to understand and analyze it. Maybe next week we will explain a little bit details. For now, we will just finish in 2 minutes, next 5 minutes. I don't have any kind of test failure, so I will not have anything like for now. Test failure. If you have any test cases, I don't have any test cases, so that is why I don't have anything. This is important, team. This is your success run, the succeeded runs. So like I mentioned, I have total 2 pipelines. That 2 times I have run it. So that is why success as 2. And what is the time and duration it took me? And also down if you see 44.87% of total run time is taken by step BS bill. Okay. So you will be able to analyze if somebody say my pipeline is taking so much of time, can you try to actually rectify or can you see where the issue is? So this is the only one solution where you can come and see here. Okay, you go with your pipeline, based on your pipeline, go inside the pipeline and under this one go here analytics and check here. So if anybody is asking you this requirement that my pipeline is taking a lot of time, but I don't know what is the issue in this case, can you just try to fix the issue? Then you come here directly, check this one duration. When I say the pipeline duration means this is to success, it took me this much of time. Let me see what how it, you can see full report, right? You, like I mentioned, out of 2 pipeline, it took me nearly 6 minutes 33 seconds, right? So and you can see the which one is taking the more, consuming the more space, sorry, not space, basically time. We say 44% of the total run time is taken by this particular ABS bill. That means you could be issue with this one, so you can identify this one of the reason. Second, it also shows you the top 10 steps by duration, like top 10 which one is the based on the thing sequence why you can see which one was taken the more the highest number of your time duration, right? So in my case, if we see as per the diagram, the first one is the default, the BS code, like I mentioned, it itself says the BS, sorry, BS bill itself taking the highest number of time. That is why it is highlighting the this thing. So this is coming in the first stage or in the first sequence. Then second one is taken your the same all default this thing. You can nigger commands to run your, this is nigger like I mentioned because they were working with our ASP.NET code base. So it to run this one, it is a second. It took me this much of this thing. Okay. Then we have a nigger installer. Then it got installed. Okay. Then checkout. Checkout did not take much time, but still. Then initializing job. Then Docker installer and BS test. Final everything. So this is a total it took me. And also you can see here uh, top 9 step by duration account for 100% of the education time. There also if you want, you can just click here. You can just go and details understand. Sorry, like that you can just click here basically. Here, just click your cursor somewhere here. You can see, like I mentioned, no, when I say this thing, you can see which one is taken more. BS, like I mentioned, BS bill is taken 42.45. Then Neger command took me 27.41% like that. So this will help you analyze and try to identify the issue basically. Based on that, you have to react with that. Okay, so based on the issue, whatever you have here, you will be able to understand now. Okay, this could be issue. The time was taken, it is because of this particular issue where I need to work on. Or maybe if you have somebody in your team, some like this thing based on the this thing, you will be informing them that this is the thing that we need to work on where it has to increase or maybe do something for this one. So based on that, you need to work with this problem. Okay, we have other so many others. We will explain maybe next week. For now, because we have so many things to explore. For now, this is all team. So yeah, so we will end up these sessions. Thank you for joining this class and have a nice day.